So here's another installment of Awkward Author Book Reviews. Yay! I feel like I'm a negative Nancy because like some of mine are just, I picked up books off my bookshelf, ones that I've read, and I just don't like all of them. But I think that's a good thing. Like, everyone's tastes are different, and just because I didn't like it doesn't mean another person won't. Now, this next one, I think a lot of people are going to throw things at me for because it wasn't really my cup of tea. But it is a classic, and it's one that, like, everyone said, you have to read it, it's amazing, it's the best thing ever. And I just don't know if I was reading it too late in the game, like if I should have read it when I was younger, in a different generation, a different, regardless. Cat fucking spit out what the book is. Alright. So, Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. Now, let me first say, I admire the content of this book. Like, I will say the philosophy in this book is incredibly strong. If you're someone who wants a philosophical read, who wants to kind of sit there and sink into it, and really, mire yourself in maybe, contemplation, then this would definitely be more of a book for you. And, I've noticed all my, a lot of the people who do end up liking it are people who prefer that in their reads. For me, I really like fast pacing. I like to get my, I do like things that resonate with me, I do like things that make me think, but I like receiving them in small little bits as I'm going along. Or I like getting them as a whammy impact after reading a scene that might have just hit fast. Whereas this one is just the pacing is a slow drip. And I think also, timeline-wise, back when this was written, that was a lot more the norm. Whereas, nowadays, pacing does tend to be incredibly faster, especially when you're, involving something like urban fantasy-esque or paranormal romance. But I mean, you can definitely see why Anne Rice, is such a, huge name in fantasy genre, and why she's lasted, because I mean, the themes presented in it are incredibly lasting, and, it does still make you think. The biggest problem I had with it is I really struggled, not because of reading comprehension, I can read people, but because pacing. I really, if things drag on too long, and I'm just like, okay, come on, we got the picture, after the first 5 sentences about his hair, let's pick up the pace here, let's keep moving. And that's always just been me. So, I mean, really, I know plenty of people who love that, incredibly detailed, fleshed out type of prose. And if so, this is definitely for you. If you are, a thriller or, a fast-pacey urban fantasy gal, though, not so much. I mean, all in all, I would say, do I feel enriched from having read it? I feel like I read it. That's not really an answer, is it? I guess I feel like I now know what people were talking about with, but I also saw the movie beforehand, and I hate to be that person, because normally I will always pick the book over the movie, but honestly, the movie kind of moved faster, and therefore I was able to enjoy it a little bit more. The other thing, too, though, is I have a huge thing with, whiny pity-me characters. And so I'm kind of wondering, and other people have told me this too, that to just skip ahead and read stuff with Lestat, because he's more interesting. And so I may end up still picking up, the following books and checking them out. Because Louis, as a character, for me, was just... He became brooding to the point where it became whiny. And it's a tightrope. My cats are trying to destroy everything. Anyway, that brooding, character walks a thin line of becoming whiny and angsty. And again, maybe if I had read this as a teenager, I may have appreciated it more, because I was sure as hell, a whiny and angsty teen. But since I'm not anymore, my patience level for bullshit has gone drastically down, and a lot of the self-exploration stuff just kind of falls short because I'm like, well, come on, dude, just get the grips. You're a vampire. That's nice. Yes, you have like forever to ruminate over this and whine about it and oh, whatever, but like do something. Just do something. I always in books admire characters that are ones of action, not just endless rumination. And I think that's my big stumbling point with the book. However, I will say, like, I can see from, and taking my own perspective out of it, I can see why this has lasted. I can see why it was such an integral book at the time. And I do think it's one that probably will live on. And and youths can read it and get sucked into that world. But I will say, for me, maybe not so much. But who knows? If I give the list out one a try and I am corrected, I will definitely come on here and tell you guys. Alright, so that's Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. Thanks.